Hey everyone, welcome to Keeping It 100 podcast, Real Women, Real Talk with Adrienne and Jacqui.
Each week, we're going to dive into any and all topics, keeping it real, keeping it honest, and keeping it slightly uncomfortable.
Thank you so much for joining in to today's episode.
Now let's begin.
Hi guys, I'm Jacqui.
I'm Adrienne.
And today we are discussing why our services are valuable. Ooh, I like this topic.
I am super excited. I feel like this is something that comes up often enough that we definitely wanted to shed some light on what we do, why it's valuable, and then just kind of talk about small businesses in general.
Absolutely. I think it's a very, very important topic for us to have so that you guys see what it looks like from our end as business owners as well.
For sure.
So Adrienne, you want to get started and let me know what you think and what your day looks like when you're planning out your programs and stuff. I want to hear all about it because you do more than one, right?
Yeah, so I'm really excited for this, Jacqui, because I do a lot. Well, you do a lot of one-on-one too, but our niches seem to be one-on-one, and you do a lot of group, and so I'm super excited to see the different perspectives. So yeah, we'll do a kind of a life in the day of, and go from there. So from the moment I meet with a client on the phone, we go over everything. Of course, I make sure it's a good fit and we talk about the goals. But from the moment they decide to sign up with me until the moment that we actually start their program, there's a lot of work and science sort of stuff and research and planning. And so basically what needs to be done is I have to find out everything about you as a client. I want to know, what are your fitness goals? Are you on a weight loss journey? Are you on a muscle gain journey? Are you on a conditioning? Everything matters, and then injuries, interests, time, all of this. So compiling all of this information so that I can then take that information and I build a customized 100% made for you program. And so a lot of this information I have in my brain, of course, just from learning, and it's a passion of mine. So I'm always researching, but sometimes, it's okay, I want to pair it with this. And so now I have to go dig research, find the science to back up why I'm doing what I'm doing. If you have, a fat loss goal or you have muscle gaining, there is science behind that just takes, precision in putting it together. And so I always make sure none of my programs are generic. Everything is customized exactly to whatever their goal is.
That's right.
And then with that is nutrition, right? So what are your allergies, budget, all of that kind of stuff? How much time do you have to cook per day? Is your family going to join you on this meal plan? All of these different details. And so again, there's a science of, if you're looking to gain muscle, your diet will need to reflect that. If you want to be training as a marathon runner, your diet will reflect that. And so
exactly.
So much science, so much research, but then also making sure that when I hand out a workout program, I've done that program. I've made sure it works. I know how it feels on the body. I've tested it out.
Right. And it's how and that is so important. Just the important fact that you just said is, when you have, when you're focused on strength, your diet is always going to be different to if you're working at a desk or whatever the case, or you're trying to lose weight or lose body fat, whatever the case may be, right? So that is such an important topic. I like the nutrition topic.
Nutrition is quite fascinating. And then, so once I have all of their program is put together to exactly what their physical needs are and their physical goals, I pair it up with a very precise meal plan with nutrition. I also like to coach and teach my clients how to eat, so they're not just relying on me to just tell them what to eat. And so I do offer a lot of PDFs and different ways that they can kind of learn about the food they're putting in their body. And then the last step for me, and the most important step for my client to get started, is when we do our goal setting. And so once I have your program and your nutrition plan, before I hand that off, I make sure that we sit down, I get to know or remind you, I guess, and remind myself exactly what your goals are. And we do this thing where I get to the deep rooted emotional attachment of your goals. And I do that by asking Why? 5 times, a minimum of 5 times, because what I want to do is build that emotional connection for you, because at some point you will not want to do your program. It's just human nature. There's always going to be at one point where you're just like, I don't know.
Exactly.
So why are you doing this? Really digging deep to make sure I understand where you want to go, what is your driving force to get you there, and that you know what that is too. And setting up the mindset of, you know, sustainability. It's not an all or nothing. There's going to be bumps along the way, but what can we do to make sure that you're not losing momentum, reminding you of where you want to be? All of those things matter. So yeah, so that's kind of the process. Sorry?
I absolutely like that. Sorry, just to kind of kind of pitch in there is, you know, the fact that like, you know, a lot of the motivation, yes, comes from us, but we also have to have that internal motivation, your why of why you're doing this. Because on days when you can't get up or you don't want to do something, but you tell yourself, okay, I gotta get a workout in because this is the ABCD. Let it be, you know, being good health, just health lifestyle. Maybe there's a health thing, maybe there's a mindset thing, whatever the case may be, but you certainly need to have your why to be able to push. So I like that mindset aspect of it. Awesome. You're crushing it, girl.
We can definitely I think on another episode dive into like motivation and how all of that, because it is quite fleeting. And so you need to have something outside of motivation to keep you going. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Well,
and then
exciting.
For you, I know. And so for you, you do the kind of the same. I mean, group fitness and coaching, like we're in the business of helping people reach their goals.
That's right.
But your process is different, of course. So I'd love to hear about it.
Of course. Yeah. So like, with my group fitness classes or sessions, we do things as a group. So I typically would even participate with my participants. So most of the time it's like challenges and group workouts or whatever the case may be. So, but my strategy is a little bit different. So, I mean, when a client says, hey, Jacqui, I really, really would love to be part of the sweat sessions. How, you know, what do I go about it? So there's obviously like, I mean, apart from like registration, but you know, you kind of just let them know what to expect. So we got 6 workouts a week that I program. So on Sundays, it's usually my day where I sit down and I plan out for the whole week, right? So every day is different. And depending on whether there's a new client that just started and you want to just make sure that it applies to them, or maybe some of the clients that I've had since the beginning, because this is our 43rd week and we're going into a 44th week. I know, time flies. I can't believe it's almost been a year.
That's crazy.
Crazy, right?
It's crazy that you know that you're on your 43rd week. I don't even know what day we're on today.
You know what? The reason why I know is because every week, like literally from week 1, I got into the habit of saying we're into our first week because I was super excited. Yeah. So I was super excited in the beginning. So I would say we're in week 3, we're in week 8, we're in week 16, and then I was just like, I kind of like this week thing. So now it actually keeps us excited. And you know, if somebody starts today and you know, they will know, oh, okay, they've been doing this for 43 weeks. This is amazing. Or sometimes they just don't care. It doesn't matter. But anyhow, so I know as I babble, I'm going to cut myself off right there.
That's okay.
So anyhow,
that's okay.
So I have I have this spreadsheet that has different sheets of each week from literally week 1 to now. And every Sunday I plan out the week. I make sure that people that have been with me, let's say for 40 something weeks, versus people who have been with me, let's say the last 4 weeks, versus somebody who just started, I make sure the workouts are tailored to everyone. So beginner, intermediate, and advanced. And I always make sure that there's options for every single movement, right? And there's a lot of thought to it. I make sure I research. I make sure that I don't repeat workouts all the time. You know, workouts are going to repeat themselves no matter what, but it's how you repeat it that somebody be like, I feel like we did this last week. But if you incorporate that certain exercise with something else, then it doesn't quite feel like that, right? Or maybe the music is slightly different, or the intensity or the drive from my motivational voice is different. I try to make sure I think about little things like that to keep my clients entertained and working hard, right? And motivated. That's the most important thing.
So you design an entire program, but then and this is the second piece, is you have to coordinate it to music, which is way outside my wheelhouse.
That's right. So, okay. So, I mean, I took a choreography course through AFLCA that definitely helped me a lot in terms of choreography. So I can't even count without having the music. Does it make sense? Like, because I'm always so talking.
I took that exact same course, but I struggled. But
yeah, no, it comes with practice though too. Like that's all now. Okay, because I talk so much when I'm motivating my clients, I need the music because, and sometimes I do make a mistake and I lose count anyway, whether the music is there. But sometimes the music does help me know where we're at, because like it's 8 counts, right? So if we get into the second bridge and it's halfway, then I know we're at 12 versus 8, right? And sometimes I forget and I just literally lose it. And I'm like, oh guys, I just added an extra 4. And I know I've added an extra 4. I just totally just missed the last count.
Right. Right. For sure. Yeah, so yeah, anyway. So you're doing the like research of workout programs and the research of the musicality and matching it and bringing the energy and making sure all levels are feeling safe and challenged and
challenged. And yeah, and another thing that I was going to just point out is also just making sure everyone is safe, is everything is virtual. So you want to make sure that all your clients don't have injuries, or if they do have injuries, how you're going to cater to them. There's some people that wouldn't be able to do a squat or a lunge. You just need to be mentally prepared to know if you know those clients are going to be in that particular class, you want to make sure that you're prepared to give the options for something other than a squat or a lunge, right? So there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and also just to make sure that my clients don't plateau. So if you don't want to do the exact same thing every week, because your body does get used to it, right? Once in a while, I'll add in like power outs where like we go super hard for like 3 minutes, no break, and literally it's supposed to just like gas you out, right? So little things like that, where it's like, where do I add those? Where is it more appropriate to add that? Because if the workout is already intense as it is, you don't need a power out because you should be gassed by the time the workout is done. So little things like that.
I add those for my clients as well. And I always tell them, oh, so I just added something fun at the end of your workout. And most of my clients, if they hear me say the word fun, they
know what's up. No. Yeah.
They're like, I don't want to play your games.
Yeah, right. No, exactly. No, but I mean, that's what we do. And
but they love it. I mean, I've never had a serious complaint. They're always like, oh, here we go. But it's that like kind of that extra push gas out sort of thing where it's like, it just gives that extra punch. And it's not for every workout. And that's where that knowledge comes in of knowing where can you put that? Who can I give that to? How can I challenge this client?
Right. And and also it comes down to like us actually upgrading ourselves, upgrading our knowledge, and taking short courses or workshops or whatever the case may be to make sure that we stay on trend with what's out there, right? In a safe way. I mean, there's workouts out there that I wouldn't dream of doing because I'm like, I would just fall flat on my face and probably break my nose. So I'm not going to expect my clients to do that.
Or like, you see a workout online and like, maybe it looks cool, but I think like, it's our responsibility to then put in the research behind it and be like, is this as cool as it looks? Sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's just a cool looking move, but it's not going to help anyone or benefit anyone. And sometimes you're like, oh, I can see where this would come in handy. And now you have something new in your little case
in your little toolbox, right?
Yeah. Awesome. Well, so Jacqui, I would love to talk about small businesses, big businesses, and the sort of devalue aspect that comes into play a lot in small businesses.
Oh my goodness. I think it's such an important topic. Seeing that we do have, I mean, in every industry there is small and big, and the big companies have the resources, they've got the investors behind them, they have that buying power in terms of whatever the case may be behind that. So they can actually price their services and products at a much lower price
Right.
than what a small business or a small entrepreneur can do, because it comes down to value. And this is why we're having this topic here, right? Yeah, let's dive into it, Adrienne. Let's do this. Yeah,
All right.
businesses. Well, how do you guys feel about paying $20 a month for unlimited classes?
Right. And I think that's kind of, we came up with this topic because it comes up often enough where
all the time.
Where it's like, hey, can I have a discount? Can I have this for free? Can I pay you later, but have this service now? And I think it's really interesting how quickly, and like you said, every industry has these examples of how can we ask for this discount from small businesses or local businesses. We would never dream of asking this from some big box store or anything like that, you know? And so it's such an interesting thing. And you've had it, I have it, where people are like, oh, well, can I just like, what if you just gave me this amount off, or can I have this for free, or pay for it later? But like, you wouldn't walk into a store and be like, hey, I'd really like to buy this, but like, it's too much. So if I could just have 50% off, I'd be like super sweet.
Right.
And we just
they'll look at you and be like, no, sorry, the price on the tag is what you're paying.
And so like, I'm trying to think of an example that's like pretty well known, but like, I think of it when, in terms of like any salon, I mean, salon people work very hard, of course, but like when we're going to like get our nails done, you would never ask that person, hey, can I just have 50% off? You just would, and you're like, hey, this is a service. I want pretty nails. And yet we see it a lot where people want big discounts on personalized training.
Right. And what I find is, they would be like, is it possible to, to try this particular service for a couple of days so I can just get a feel of if this is on my lane? And it's like, well, I do have a 6-day free trial. I do. And I offer it. It's not a secret. And I literally send them this link of like, hey, like, sign up to subscribe to my free 6 days. And it basically gives you a rundown of like an idea of what the classes are like. But unfortunately, I don't just agree to just put people into my classes, not because I don't want to, but I don't want to devalue my existing clients, and who are paying, and they are paying for that elite service and giving somebody else a free pass. Does it make sense?
For sure.
It's just, it's not something that I would do. So.
Right. And I think like, and we've talked about this, something that comes up is people will say, well, like, but it's your side hustle, or if you're so passionate about it, you should do it for free. I would hear this a lot when I was teaching yoga. Well, it's yoga. Yoga should be free. And it's like, and this is our business. It is our passion, and we love to do it. And we're very grateful that we're given the opportunity, that we're able to do something that we love for our job. And this is our business, right? The only way we can show up 100% for our clients is if we're able to pay our rent and
take care of ourselves.
And take care of ourselves. And so, yes, it would be lovely that we could give all these services for free, but ultimately, like we are still a functioning business, and we are still, members of society, and like people that require things. And it's interesting how we see people paying for larger services or from bigger companies without ever asking to think for a discount. And yet it happens so often with small businesses.
And you ask yourself, why is that though? Like it comes down to, I mean, let's be honest. There's certain things that, are luxury. You walk into a luxury store and you want to purchase a luxury item, you're not going to question the associate, because those luxury items don't even ever go on sale. Right? And you go to the associate, you don't go to the associate and be like, so this is like $2,000, but I really love it. Do you think I can get like 20% off? They'll look at you and say, if you can't pay for it, you don't get it. Right, Adrienne?
That's awesome. Well, and it's interesting because I heard somebody brought this up a while ago, like a fellow coach of mine said something where like people are really quick. We're quick to drop money on immediate gratification, but we're so hesitant to put money on long-term sustainable like processes. And so we see this a lot, like in terms of like quick fix diets. And it's like, How much do we spend each year? You know, I know that like the average person spends, what is it? It was like $1,700 a year just on diet pills.
That's insane, right?
Anything else. And so yet people are hesitant. They're like, oh, well, I don't want to invest $100 a month in a gym membership. And it's like, but I can guarantee you at some point, you've invested money in quick fixes that didn't go anywhere. In
mind you, those diet pills don't work, you guys. Just so you guys know,
they do not, and so
they're not sustainable.
We're so quick, you know. Yet people are like, "Oh, look at this, a generic product from a big company," and you don't think about it. Yet, small businesses with that personal touch, you know, we've talked about how much effort goes into each individual person, and yet people are always looking for a deal.
For you know, and I think it's up to us also as fitness professionals to try and change that, because there is some fitness professionals out there that will lower that price to as low as it can go, you know, just to get a client. But at the end of the day, are you doing yourself are you serving yourself any justice by doing that? Like, are you able to pay your phone bill? Are you able to have gas in your car? And it doesn't just go for fitness professionals, it goes to any business owner. If you're in the business of products and you buy products at a certain price from your wholesaler, and let's say you put a margin on it, and maybe it's a margin of whatever percentage that you're putting on it, but you also have to think about your overhead. You have to think about paying yourself. You have to think about paying the bills. So you're not going to put an overhead that isn't going to make sense where you're not making money. So why should we do that with fitness services?
I think it's also important to point out that like what we often forget with big companies is, while you could get like something for say $20, whereas like maybe we charge $100, but there's a big company that charges $20. Yeah. But they have a huge overhead in investors, but I can guarantee you most big businesses don't pay their employees well. Right. And so when you're looking at a small business, like, yes, it's more, but you're getting that personal touch. You're talking to somebody directly. It's them directly. They're, you know, you're not funneling through this huge thing of millionaires at the top where the employees are. That was a huge scandal with the company years ago. Right. And so, and then ultimately what we were talking about, where it was like, when we had this conversation yesterday, and at one point in our conversation, Jacqui and I both at different times had clients text us, and we full on stopped our meeting. And, and at one point, both of us like just put our hand up, and we were like, somebody's texting me, I must reply immediately, pause the meeting, because nothing else matters to us more than our clients, making sure that you guys are okay, making sure that everything is running smooth, and really making sure that, like, I think what we wanted to kind of bring in with this topic is that it's so easy to look past the value of small businesses or independent businesses, because it's a nice idea to save some money, but what you're saving in money, you're missing out on that personal touch, on that care and attention that goes into it. Like, customer service lines are not somebody who's going to call you if you text them and being like, hey, I had a really bad day, call you and be like, what's going on? Or check in on your family, or find out what can we do next week to, okay, you only were able to get in 2 workouts. What can we help? Like, what can we change to make sure that you feel successful, to, you know?
Speaking of which, actually, like, like, for example, last Saturday, I think one of my clients called me at like 8 something at night, and, you know, I was just hanging out with my husband, watching a movie. We're just chilling. It was my night off. And, but the minute I saw that they were calling, I was like, pause that movie. Sorry. Everything stops. Hello, how's it going? Yeah. And I stayed on the phone with her for at least 45 minutes because she was a priority. So for me, my clients are everything. So if they need me, whether they pay however much per week or however much per month, or, you know what I mean, whether they're at my low ticket stuff or my high end stuff, it doesn't matter. Every single client, if they need my help, I will make sure I drop everything I have and I attend to them. And if I'm not able to talk at that point, or I'm in some way loud or whatever, then I'll send them a quick text and say, hey, is everything okay? Can I give you a call in a couple of hours or tomorrow morning, or whatever the case may be? But my point is, you will never get that personal touch from a big company.
Yeah. And we're definitely like not here to bash anybody or whatever,
No.
but ultimately really take a moment to just kind of think like, because I think we've all done this at some point, right? We just kind of forget where the value is in small businesses or local businesses. And, you know, and for Jacqui and I, like we see this happen often where we would love to give everything for the lowest price or free. We would. And the only way we can show up as we are with all of our education, all of our knowledge, all of everything we have is to charge what we're worth. And ultimately, in signing up for like one-on-one coaching, that's exactly what you're getting. Like, I mean,
sometimes actually clients get even more than what we actually put a lot more work, because sometimes we don't even factor in the little things, right? Like, you know, we price out our pricing versus I mean, based on what we're worth, yes, but we don't take into account when, you know, you take a phone call on a Saturday night or on a Sunday morning when you should be having your downtime. We don't factor those little things in because those little things don't really matter. Making connections and having that organic connection with your client, and you know, making sure that your client is okay, and also just making sure that they feel valued and that getting what they pay for is everything to us, right? So we want to make sure that that's taken care of.
It's that personalized connection of, and outside of business, ultimately we're losing that a lot. And even like being online, there is going to be like, you know, we don't have that same in person. And so whatever we can do to build that relationship and make sure that our clients are okay and everyone's okay. And my previous yoga teacher, my mentor, and the one I did my teacher training with, she gave a really good example that stood out for me, because I remember asking, like, what do you do when people say yoga should be free? And you get all these people who are always like, oh, you should teach for free. And she has close to 40 years or maybe over 40 years experience now. And she told me, when somebody says that to her, she says, yoga is free. My time and knowledge is not. If you want a free yoga class, you can go on YouTube. There's lots of them, but you're not getting that one-on-one with an instructor. You're not getting, you know, if you're like, oh, hey, my hip feels funny in this pose, somebody to come over and talk to you or talk after class or build that connection. And it's the same online. Yeah. My mentor talks about this all the time. You can go download a generic fitness plan, a generic meal plan, and follow them. There's not going to take into account your body composition, your goals, how you're feeling emotionally, where your mental health is at. There's nobody there to check like, hey, is your family joining in? Are they supportive? What equipment do you have? So yes, you can have these things for free, but the service and the value behind that is somebody checking in on you, making sure, if you're like, hey, you know what? My knee feels funny in this lunge. What else can I do? And Jacqui's like, all right, guys, here's the 3 levels of lunges in class today.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it comes down to, I'm so passionate about this topic only because of how much we care and the value that comes behind it. Right. I mean, Adrienne, like, you probably took a few nutrition courses. Not probably, you did. That's why you do it, and that's why you're good at what you do. And you know, we all upgrade ourselves and we all put in the energy. And it just comes down to, why is fitness undervalued so much? Mm-hmm. And it comes down to us again, like I had mentioned earlier, right? How do we change that dynamic? Right. How do we need to start with ourselves and value what we're worth first before we expect other people to value us the same way, right? And this is why we're having this conversation. So trainers, instructors, fitness specialists, if you guys want to send us an email and let us know what your thoughts are on this topic, we would love to hear from you. Well, no, seriously, on a serious note.
This goes across all industries, but of course we can only speak from what we know, which is being in the fitness world. And I mean, it's small businesses across the globe, right? We see this so much where, and I'm curious with everybody listening, like, just take a moment. And I know it's hard to kind of have these hard self-talk reflections of like, you know, are you are there places where you could support local or small businesses a little bit
Yeah.
more, or, you know, because especially this year, like we really need to we need to remember the value that small businesses and local businesses have, right?
Absolutely.
In our society, in the community, in like everything, in like the place in the world. And remembering that, yeah, it's nice and shiny things, you know, these big box companies, but ultimately that personal touch is missing. You know, there's so many layers we just don't see. And for me, I always have felt better investing a bit more in a friend or in a local business, knowing that I'm supporting them. But then also, like, you gave this example before of like talking to a business owner and having that relationship.
Speaking of which, I had a conversation with the gentleman that owns Pao YYC. So it's a Filipino business, and they sell little buns with like, oh my God, it's so yummy, and ramen, and like it's like a little care package. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I think I put it in my Insta story last weekend because I think that's when we had it, and it's just so delicious. But anyway, but before I didn't even know they existed, but I had a conversation with this guy because a friend of mine had connected me with him over other things, and we were having a discussion on the phone. So and then I started following him on Instagram and everything else, and I was like, oh my God, that looks amazing. And I was like, how do I order myself one of those? And for me, I was like, that's a small business that I didn't know about, but I made sure I supported them by ordering. That very week, I was like, dude, I want that stuff. I think his name was Chris. Yes. I was like, wow, what's his name again? His name is Chris, I think. Yes, Chris. And I was like,
we'll plug them into the show notes. Don't worry, guys.
Exactly. We'll make sure that we leave you guys with that, because I was like, oh my goodness, what is his name?
Jacqui's and my favorite local business, which is like 2 blocks from my house, which is the most amazing thing and the most not amazing.
No, his name is John, you guys. John. Oh my goodness, John. Yes, and I had such a lovely gentleman, and I was like, okay, I want to order a kit of that. So as part of our date night with Colin and I was like, woo woo, I'm gonna be. Oh, I call my husband boo boo. Sorry, guys. Totally threw that in. Oopsies. Anyway, so I was like, hey, we're gonna order this tonight. I mean, not tonight, but like, I mean, we're gonna order it for Saturday. And guess what, you guys? John made sure he delivered it. He literally came by the door, delivered the food. My dogs are crazy. They literally were like all over him, and he was just like, it's okay. But like, it was just like the nice connection behind that as well. Support your small businesses. I'll tag him underneath there. But the food was delicious. So if you've never had Filipino Pao stuff, so good. Yum. We enjoyed it.
We'll definitely throw that in the show notes. Don't worry. You're so funny. And I think that's pretty much like, just to kind of like tie it all together, is really just you know, the value of what we do, like, is the personalization, is that care and attention. Where, you know, we don't clock out at 5 p.m. and making sure that like, our clients are our number one priority always. And if we lived in a world where everything, you know, was whatever, I'm sure we would do this for free. But essentially this is our passion, but it's also our business. And just making sure that value is there. And, you know, we always want to bring the best to our clients. And so the only way to do that is to, do what we do. So take a moment, think if there's something in your neighborhood that you can support locally, or a friend who's starting up a business that you can support. This is just the best way. This is our little plug, right? This is just the best way to
help
the economy, is to just support local, support your friends.
I love that. Yeah. And we're gonna put all the details in our Instagram, and just so that they can like follow them if they want to and check them out, right?
Yeah, we'll list a few of our favorite. We're in Calgary, YYC, so we'll list a few of our favorite local businesses, and you guys can check out their social media. And
and what we'll do as well is we always post like a little quick small clip of this podcast. So if you want to go on to either Adrienne or I's Instagram on our IGTV, and just comment below of your local businesses, if there's somebody that we missed, and just tag them in the comments. We would love to support as many people as possible, whether they're local, whether they're Canada wide, wherever your local is. put it in the comment boxes. All right, you guys?
Yeah, awesome idea, Jacqui. I love it.
Yeah, why not?
Awesome,
right? We might as well spread the love everywhere.
It's so true. It's so true. So yeah, but yeah, thanks so much for sharing what you do, Jacqui, in a day. I mean, I could never do what you do.
You are crushing it. You are doing way more sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, I want to be like Adrienne or vice versa, or whatever, right? But I mean, at the end of the day, I think together, as we always say, collaboration is so important. And I'm so grateful that I met you, Adrienne, because girl.
Collaboration, that ties in, our last one. And that's the same with the small businesses and what we really just wanted to bring in, like just letting you guys know like what our life looks like on the other side.
That's right.
Just talk about small businesses and local in general. Collaboration over competition. Let's just support each other. Yay. And then we are going to be doing 2 podcasts a week moving forward. So Tuesday and Saturday.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You got the days right.
You got it, girl.
Yes. And we're super excited to really dive into some fun, interesting, slightly uncomfortable topics.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm pretty pumped for those to come.
And I think it will be amazing. And just one more thing is, if you guys remember, if you're a subject matter expert or anything like that, and there's topics that you would like to hear about, we are so open to suggestions out there. So again, we talk about fitness because this is in our wheelhouse, but this can go beyond what we already have. And
we will be taking it there very soon. I think
that's right.
For anybody who's been kind of following our first 2 episodes, we just want to get to know you, have you guys get to know us. But we will, we want to talk to experts. We're going to start bringing in guests, but we also want to take the conversation outside of fitness, talk about personal things we've come across, different stuff like that. So I'm excited for the next couple weeks. It's going to be juicy.
Me too. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for tuning into today's episode.
Yeah, thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this episode, if you could just leave us a review down below, it would mean the world to us.
Give us a 5-star.
Oh yeah, and if you're watching this on IGTV, go over to Apple or Spotify, leave us a review. And we'll give you virtual high fives. That's
right. Adrienne, it's always a pleasure, my dear. Oh my God, girl. I love you. You're amazing. Yeah, girl.
You're amazing.
All right,
guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.